undisciplined kids. I don't know. I know how my parents did. My parents were engineers. Do you have any engineers in the room? Engineers? Oh, my friend, you're an engineer. What's your name?
Shelton.
Shelton. Oh, Shelton. Let me tell you a little bit about Shelton, ladies and gentlemen. Do you remember the kid back in grade school who used to push the projector cart down the hall on film strip day? That was Shelton. Give it up right there. There he is. And Shelton has a hard job. For those of you who don't know an engineer, right there's a man that works 50, 60 hours a week trying to dream up the worst set of circumstances that ever could possibly come down the pipe. These people breathe negative energy all day long. My father used to go to work with a belt and a pair of suspenders at the same time. Backup system. Those pants were staying up come hell or high water. And he knew when high water was coming. Because he had a barometer on his desk. Now, I never met Shelton before in my life. I'm going to tell you, is that your wife with you?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, when I watch her face, I'm going to tell you his favorite expression in the world. Favorite expression? Worst case scenario. Look, she's laughing and he got a tingle. I knew it, Shelton. Because my parents disciplined me using the worst case scenario method. True story. My mother had me convinced I could be laying on a stretcher with my lung hanging out and not admitted to an emergency room if my underpants weren't spotless. Then when I was 12, I told her I might get a tattoo. Now instead of my mother reasoning with me, saying, you're only 12, a tattoo will last forever, my mother says to me, someday, you may be wanted by the police. Get a tattoo, they'll have a positive identification on you. We'll visit you in the big house. You know how they say the optimist sees the glass half full, the pessimist half empty? My mother saw it as another dish she had to wash. And you know how most parents say to their children, brush your teeth every day, you'll have a beautiful smile, get ahead in your life. My mother says, you don't brush those teeth, they'll rot right out of your face. And then someday, you may be burned beyond recognition. And we won't be able to identify you with your dental charts. Then your life insurance company will refuse to pay the claim. Your family will be left in the streets. Your kids will get tattoos and end up in jail. I said, yeah, Mom, well, if ever am burned beyond recognition, I won't have to worry about clean underpants, will I? Pretty sure they're combustible. But just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, to this day, I have all my teeth, no tattoos, and I'm wearing clean underpants. Now, Michelle, how about a round of applause for Shelton, our good sport engineer? I wasn't going to do this, Shelton, but I'm going to give you 2 engineer jokes. You don't get engineer jokes very often, right? I'm going to give you 2 of them to take to your nerd friends. Engineer joke number 1. 3 men sentenced to death by guillotine. A priest, a drunk, and an engineer. First they put in the priest, he looks at me and says, Heavenly Father, I put my life in your hands, whatever your will be. They drop the blade, it stops, and the instrument's throat. The executioner said, it's a miracle. Father, you're free to go. Next they put in the drunk. He looks up and says, me too. They drop the blade, again, it stops, and the instrument's throat. The executioner said, this is divine intervention. You may go. Next they put in the engineer. He looks up and he says, you know, I could fix that. Engineer joke number 1. Engineer joke number 2. This engineer dies and goes up to meet St. Peter. St. Peter's got a book in front of him with everyone's name who is going to be admitted into heaven. He goes through the book and the engineer's not listed. So he says to him, I'm sorry, you're going to have to meet your final beckoning down below. The engineer thinks it's wrong. He makes him check again. St. Peter checks again, every page of the book. He said, I'm sorry, you're not here. The engineer still thinks he's wrong. But aware of the vagaries of management, he goes. A month goes by. And just on routine, God calls down to the devil to see how everything is. The devil said, everything's fantastic down here. We love that engineer, you said. God said, what engineer? The devil said, that engineer you said a month ago, the guy's incredible. He's cleared out the smoke. He's put in an escalator. And in 2 weeks, we're going to have air conditioning. God said, wait a minute, you weren't supposed to get that engineer, you got to send him back. The devil said, no way, we love him. God said, well, if you don't send him back, I'm going to sue you. The devil said, oh yeah? And where do you think you're going to find a lawyer?